Good morning, everyone. This is Karl F. Rose recording live from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Saturday, July 31st, 2021. And, before I get going, let me just play my music here. Okay, now let me get into my disclaimer here. Okay, if you're 13 years old or younger, please leave these podcasts now. These podcasts are not intended or targeted to children in any way, shape, or form. So again, if you're 13 years old or younger, please leave this podcast now. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Karl F. Rose, recording live from Bedford, Pennsylvania on July 31st, Saturday, July 31st, 2021. And please pardon the background noise. I have a lot of fans going. The AC unit doesn't work. It's not working. It will never work. So I'm just trying to survive on fans. It's really hot here in the morning, hot and humid. But anyway, that's besides the point. What I want to talk about is something that happened and what's going on with the state of affairs with the police force. And I am sure this is all the way. This isn't just in my town, in my area. I'm sure it's across the board throughout the country. No thanks to the new administration that we have. But my title of my podcast here is Cops versus Pigs. Okay, what's happening with this new administration is he's made things, life for regular, good, honest, hard-working cops, it's miserable. They're either retiring because of the danger and the low pay and all that. Well, as they retire, as the good ones retire, the new ones that are coming in are just downright pigs. And we'll be getting into that in a little bit. It's insane as what's going on, and I equate this new police force as being like the American version of the SS police during Nazi Germany when Hitler was in power, and this is exactly what's going on. But first and foremost, I do want to show you an example of what a good cop is versus what I went through. Now, I'm going to shout out two people. One's white, one's black. Both same views, both retired. One's a retired veteran from the military, a retired police officer as well. The other person is a retired police officer. I know that much. I'm not sure if he was in the military or not. But anyway, to both men, thank you for your service in all areas of what you did, because you were true cops. You're what the cops are supposed to be. You in no way, shape, or form are a pig. But what we have now is pigs. Okay, first person, Douglas Ducote. Douglas, and his last name is spelled Ducote. He doesn't do too much on YouTube anymore, but he does some. But he's got his website. I joined his mailing list, and I keep up to date. I strongly suggest going to his website, subscribing to that, because you get honestly good information from him, and it's not censored by any of this stuff. He's the white retired cop, and I call him a cop because he's a wonderful man, and he's been through it. He's been hit. He's down in New Orleans. His place got hit by hurricanes not once, but twice. He had to rebuild. I admire him for that. I admire him for what he's done. He's about my age. Again, thank you, Douglas, for your service in the military and your service as a police officer, being a real cop. The other one I want to mention is Officer Tatum. You can check out his YouTube channel. He's got other things going on to other sites and stuff. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but you'll need to check him out. But his YouTube channel is Officer Tatum. He's the black individual, retired police officer, not a pig, a police officer. He's down in Arizona, and he was fighting tooth and nail. I thought for sure before November 4th happened that we were both confident that November 3rd was going to turn out differently, but it didn't. I can't go into detail on the ifs and whats, and you know what I'm talking about. I go into detail, and I lose my podcast, and I lose my YouTube channel. So anyway, so he's a good guy too. He is a retired cop, and he's someone that I call a cop, not a pig. Okay, so I wanted to get those two things out of there. Check their channels out. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now let's get into my story. I'm going to get a little bit of coffee here. Still need to get going here. Okay. I need to backtrack a little bit to what happened to me last September. Got a lot of letters, threats, notes, and such from the BLM movement and the Antifa stuff. I still got all of the written letters. It was harassment, nothing that could jail the people, but because they knew how to word the notes. But anyway, it was just constant, and it was driving me up a wall. They were pounding on the wall. They were doing that. Eventually, I was trying to figure out how I could defend myself. So I made the mistake of telling my doctor, say, hey, and my biggest mistake was saying, well, maybe I should get a gun. And then that changed everything. Now, I am officially diagnosed as with schizophrenia. It's going to be a lifetime thing. I am not a schizophrenia, but this is what they do. The big pharma, the doctors, the police, are all tied in to all this big pharma with stuff. And if you don't toe the line, you go to a mental institution for good. This is what they're working on. And so now I can't, because the walls here are thin in the apartment. My neighbor above me is a retired veteran. He's absolutely wonderful. But the other buildings are close to each other. So basically, I really don't say anything. So I go out very rarely. I'm basically just pretty much shut in because that's just what's going on. So there was some banging on the noise, and it turned out to be the eggs hitting the window and the wall, and I let my landlord know. And he asked anybody because I texted him, I showed him the pictures, and he got back to me and he said, did anyone call the cops? And I said, no, I can't. I can no longer call the cops now because of my schizophrenia diagnosis, and the next time I call 911, they're taking me to the hospital, and I'm going to be put there in a mental facility for good. This is just not very fair to me. This is just totally unfair. This is uncalled for, this is unnecessary, and it's unacceptable. But that's the way it is. I will never, ever call. And next week, be prepared for my Never Call 911 Again episode, because I'm going to tell you why. Part of this, it goes into it. But I'm going to go more into depth in why you do not ever call 911 again, ever. If you have an emergency, you just need to find someone, a neighbor or someone, and get the person to the hospital quickly. Because you call 911 now, you get arrested. But that's for next week. Anyway, so I hear all this, and the cops come at very first thing. As soon as the cops hear, what medication are you on? Or we know what medication you're on, and we know you're this and that. We know what you are, and so we were talking. I even told the cop as he was walking away. I said, I do not support defund the police, and he just kind of threw his hand up in the air, and I was like, whatever. So that kind of indicates what kind of a idiot I was dealing with. So he said he was going to check the area and stuff. About an hour later, he comes back with this big thug goon, and they say, "We know everything about you." I hear the knock on the door in the back, and they say, "It's the police." I mean, it was like an order. They ordered me to go to bed. They said, "We know that you are up 24 hours a day. You're up days in a row. You're up causing you're yelling. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to do this and that." And they checked my arms to see. They said, "Because we know you're injecting stuff and this and that." And so I show them my arm. I obviously don't inject. But they didn't believe it. They probably think I inject through my toe, in between my toes or something. But there's no marks on my arm. I don't do that. I hate needles. I don't even have a tattoo. But they're saying all this. Now, he says, and the one cop says, "You go to bed, and you go to bed now." I had to ask the cop if I could continue watching the rest of my TV show. It was about 1 in the morning, something like that. And he says, "Okay, watch the rest of that, and you go to bed now." So what I did is I took about 80 tablets of metformin just so I could go to sleep. I was so upset. Damn near killed me. So I'm going to end on that. But this is what we got. We don't have police anymore. We have pigs. They are all pigs. And no thanks to our current administration. And there's more to come on this. Stay tuned for next week, and we will talk to you next week. Have a good day.